Birth plans suck. Okay, that was a little bit dramatic, but hey, I'm Liv. I'm a board certified registered nurse, and I've been working in labor and delivery for over 10 years. And I need to tell you why I think creating a birth plan is not going to set you up for success. Okay, so here's context. You're pregnant, you're getting close to your due date. You start going to the internet and doing some research. You find all these birth stories. You're on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. And you're just getting more and more strung out on, oh my gosh, all these things could happen. This happened to my sister, and that happened to my cousin's sister's aunt's friend, and that's not going to happen to me. So, what can I do to control it? I'm going to download a birth plan. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to write on there, I do not want a C-section. I do not want an epidural. I do not want my baby to have formula. I do not want to push on my back. I do not want an episiotomy. I do not want a vacuum. I do not want Pitocin. I do not want my water broken. I don't want any students in there. I don't want any doctors in there. Actually, I just want my husband to deliver the baby. Actually, I don't even know. Then you write it all down, you print it out, you bring it to me, and this is the first time we're meeting, and I'm like, wow. Okay, let's talk about it. Here's the first problem that arises with that birth plan logic. It is completely fixated on the negative outcome. And I think one of the main laws of the universe is that what you focus on, you attract. And so the more things that you're putting on your birth plan, the more negative things, the crazier things will get. I'm telling you, we are superstitious, us hospital folk. And the more things that we see on a birth plan, we just already know, oh my gosh, it's going to get wild. And it's not your fault. It's not the hospital's fault. It's just the energy that's created. So, what would I do instead? The first thing that I would do is a big reframe. Instead of saying birth plan, I want you to use the language birth goal or birth preferences, because the biggest lesson to learn is that you cannot control the circumstances surrounding your pregnancy and your birth. And that sucks. That is something that I know I will struggle with too. It doesn't discriminate. It is heartbreaking. So creating goals and preferences already allows you the breathing room to not set these unrealistic expectations for yourself, but still communicate what's most important to you. So the next thing I would invite you to think about is what is most important to you? The bottom line for every single person should be healthy mom, healthy baby. And there's a lot of different ways to get there. Now, disclaimer, I am not by any means saying that medicine gets it all right, because we don't. Most protocols, if not all of them in a hospital, are not individualized. They are not one size fits all. They are designed to protect the most amount of people and to reduce harm and also liability for the hospital. That doesn't mean that every protocol is going to be the most appropriate for you. And I'll talk to you about how to have those conversations with your care team. But overall, what I'm trying to convey is, number one, what is the most important to you? Number two is stay fluid. Things are going to shift and change, and you need to figure out how you want to feel for your birth. And I would think about things like feeling empowered, feeling confident, feeling heard, feeling strong. What is the overall vibe that you're trying to create for your birth? A really hard truth to swallow is that you cannot control the circumstances of your pregnancy and your birth. And maybe that's part of some intelligent design to initiate us into the process of becoming parents, where you just really can't control much of anything, it seems. And so that starts with your pregnancy, really. And here's an example. I have taken care of so many exceptionally healthy women, women that are athletes, women that do yoga, they lift weights, they sleep really well, they manage their stress, they take their supplements, they eat a really clean diet, and they still end up with preeclampsia because disease processes like that don't discriminate. And so now, where you might have created all of these plans for yourself about having a home birth or doing all these things, now you're faced with this really unfortunate circumstance and things have to shift and change. And that can be really devastating and heartbreaking. And that can even happen when you're 40 weeks pregnant. It just shows up and then it sucks. And you're just handed this whole new situation to navigate. And if you have a birth plan and now your circumstance doesn't fit that birth plan, that can be devastating. You have all these expectations and now you have to let all of it go. And then it just feels totally disempowering. So we can't control the circumstances, but you can really anchor in on how do I want to feel? If I go into the hospital or if I go into my doctor's appointment today and I find out that I have gestational diabetes or I have extremely high blood pressure and I get sent to labor and delivery and all of a sudden all this stuff is happening, how do I want to feel in those moments? Do I want to feel empowered? Do I want to feel strong? Do I want to feel resilient? Do I want to feel fluid and flexible? Do I want to feel joyful? Do I want to feel excited? Whatever it is, just start thinking about words that like really sit with you. You're like, yeah, man, that would be awesome. And focus your preferences and your goals around those few anchor words that you can still absolutely, and we appreciate when you communicate to us what's really important to you so that I know how to tailor my care to meet your goals. Because if you come in and say, I really want an epidural, honey, I'm going to prioritize that for you and I'm going to tell you exactly when to get that. And I'm not going to let you suffer through. If you tell me my goal is to go completely unmedicated, girl, I got you. I am going to give you some tips and tricks, help you with positioning, help you with some distraction methods. We could talk through some alternatives. And that's where I'm going to focus my energy. So please still communicate what's important to you. Just don't write it down in a plan. You write it down, but frame it for yourself as a goal and a preference. The next thing that I want to talk about is energy. This is something that I don't really see discussed on the internet. I see a lot of stuff about birth plans and all of that. But I want to give you the perspective of what's happening outside of your room. Hospitals are a weird and wild emotional vortex. There is so much happening, literally life and death. The perspective that I want you to have is that your nursing team, your provider team, everybody, the ward clerk, the receptionist, the care techs, the housekeeper, the dietary staff, we're all human beings too. And we all have our own lives and we all have a lot going on in our personal lives on top of doing really intense work. Your doctor may have just come from a room where they had to tell somebody that they were losing their baby or something completely devastating was happening or that they have uterine cancer. And now they're coming into your room and trying to shift their energy to show up for you and help take care of you and go through the hospital consent process. OB, obstetrics, is also the most highly litigated field of medicine. What does that mean? The most lawsuits in medicine happen in obstetrics, which unfortunately has looked like hospital protocols becoming more and more and more strict with the goal of trying to protect the most amount of patients and protect the liability of the hospital, the physicians, and the nurses. That puts a lot of us, a lot of patients in a really sticky situation because our hands are often tied and we are forced to follow those protocols because if we don't, in the court of law, it is really hard to say, oh, well, I didn't follow that protocol because I didn't agree with it. And then there was a bad outcome. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of decisions in medicine are made. That's just the reality of it. And it doesn't mean that all the protocols and the suggestions are going to be exactly right for you. So it is really important to have your preferences and your goals and to lead with that. But just know that it's a very nuanced world, okay? So going back to everybody on your team being a human being, we all are coming with our own set of energies. Like I have personally had to show up to work on days where I had something truly devastating happen in my personal life. And then I'm trying to put on a front and be there and be present for a family because I know that this is one of the most important days of your life. And I don't want to take that for granted ever. But maybe I haven't gotten a lunch break today. I haven't even gotten a chance to go to the bathroom and it's 3 p.m. Like these are very real circumstances. And you should not be responsible for any of that, but you should be aware. What can you do? I'm not telling you to buy me lunch or let me use your bathroom really quick. What you can do is you can control you. You can control your energy. And I'm telling you, the energy that you bring to your birth is really like the thermostat in your room. For example, last week I took care of a beautiful, beautiful family. They were just the most positive, open, sweet, generous people that I've ever met. And nurses and doctors were clamoring to get into that room for no reason. Like I went to visit them twice on postpartum because I just loved being in their presence. It truly filled my cup. And so, no, you don't have to be responsible for everybody else's mood, but you can do so many little things that totally set the vibe. So, what does that look like? Bring your essential oil diffuser, create an ambiance, play your music. Music is such a tension breaker. I'm just like dying laughing at this sterile AI generated hospital room background that I chose for myself. But change your environment, take control of your environment, ask what you're allowed to do. I always say bring a Bluetooth speaker, let's make it fun. And then ask your nurse, ask your doctor, where are you from? How are you doing? What's new with your family? Do you have any plans this weekend? Do you have any children? Do you have any hobbies? Just engage with them. Let them know that you see them as a human being also and that you care. And yeah, we love getting baskets of pens and snacks and whatever. But what we love more than all of that is to be seen and appreciated. And when you lead with that energy, people will bend over backwards to take care of you. People will truly be invested in your birth. They will truly want the best for you. And it really shifts the energy and it keeps multiplying. And regardless of the outcome, you're going to have such an amazing birth because you were present, you were positive, you were open-minded, you were flexible, and there is a way to do that and make your needs known. Okay, so to review, birth goals, not birth plans. What is the most important thing at the end of the day? Healthy mom, healthy baby. Absolutely communicate your preferences with your team, but focus on the positive. Focus on the positive outcomes that you are desiring. And how do you want to feel, regardless of what's happening, regardless of what kind of birth experience is starting? How are you going to pivot mentally and emotionally? And how do you want to feel? The other thing is the energy. Create the vibe, be the vibe. If you're in a lot of pain, I'm not expecting you to throw a party for the hospital staff, but Get your friends and family involved. Help keep the room fun. It's going to be hard regardless, but help keep it light, help keep it positive, and be the thermostat in your own room. Control the energy of your space. And finally, I just want to say, I hope you have the birth of your dreams. I hope that you have the outcome that you desire. And I promise I will make some more content about how to navigate conversations with your healthcare team using some simple strategies so that nothing has to feel like a battle. I wish you an awesome labor. I wish you an even better recovery. And I'll leave you with this final thought, and that is, what if it all works out?